Hi there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com, here with the final video for the top 10 list of rotation. This one is going to be cards that are still going to be in rotation that I hope are going to find a home in the following block, I guess you would call it, the following standard. And we'll start off the list here with Crypt Ghast. Yes, Crypt Ghast did see a bit of play in a Conley Woods black. It was called like mono black, but it actually had a splash of red. It used cards like Rakdos' Return, and I'm trying to think of what other cards it utilized for the red. But it was mainly mostly I think there wasn't a basic mountain in the entire deck. It was like there was Rakdos Key Rune and the Dragon Skull Summits and Blood Crypts to get red mana, and everything else is black mana for the Crypt Ghast to have as many swamps as possible to go into a possible, I believe it is a turn 5 Gristlebrand that you can get out with Crypt Ghast. Anyway, so I'm hoping that there will be enough mono black. This, instead of really Crypt Ghast, this is more of like, hey, I hope mono black is actually viable, because mono black has been one of my favorite archetypes for as long as I can remember. I had a Cobble Coffers deck clear back in the day, and this is a card that reminds me a lot of Cobble Coffers. So I'm hoping that they do have enough black cards to support a mono black in Theros, and Crypt Ghast should be a great engine there, as it does allow all of your swamps to tap for an additional black mana, and also the extort ability is kind of cool. He does have kind of a weak body on him, but I'm hoping with some of these enchantments that come with Theros that maybe you can slap on some sort of enchantment that can protect him, or have some other ways to protect him. Moving on is Ral Zarek, and he's also seen a bit of play. I just really like this Planeswalker. Yeah, his +1 ability isn't the greatest, but his -2 ability is awesome. And you get two charges out of him, 2 lightning bolts if nothing else out of Ral Zarek, or a lightning bolt and then something has to be killed. And a lot of times it's like it's almost as good as War Leader's Helix. Even though War Leader's Helix does 4 damage and 4 life, Ral Zarek does 3 damage, and it forces your opponent to use either spell to kill it or creatures that would have dealt damage to you to kill it. So it kind of is like gaining life. And the tap target permanent actually, I've already proven it in a few decks, can be very, very good. If you have a 3-drop that needs to get through and you tap down their permanent, and you can get in, and it also allows you to untap, even though you only have 1 mana up, or at least you could untap a blocker to protect Ral Zarek. So I really like this Planeswalker. I hope it sees a lot more play. I really like the color combination between red and blue. So let's cheer for Ral Zarek finding a home. Next one is another mono black card with Dark Prophecy. I think that Dark Prophecy won't be as viable without cards like Lingering Souls or Blood Artist. And I've tried to fit this card into a deck right now in this standard. It's just standard is way too hostile to be losing life when you're losing creatures. That is, even in a deck where I was gaining a lot of life, Dark Prophecy a lot of times ended up killing me a lot of times, and the card advantage didn't actually help. By if I had to spend my 3rd turn or 4th turn or 5th turn on a Dark Prophecy, and I was a creature-based deck, and wasting just that pivotal turn to cast something that's gonna give me card advantage a lot of times wasn't worth it. So I'm hoping that Dark Prophecy will find a better home in Theros, in the Theros standard. So let's cheer for this guy. Alrighty, let's go on to Beck and Call. This has been one of the most exciting cards that has been printed in a long time, at least from my standpoint, but it hasn't found a home in standard at the moment either. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield this turn, you may draw a card. I'm thinking about making a deck in the shell of the Undying, where they use like Rapid Hybridization and Young Wolves, because even on that turn, say on turn as quickly as turn 3, you could Rapid Hybridize. You could cast Beck, Rapid Hybridize your Young Wolf, and at least 2 creatures are going to come into play. But it's more like late game, though. I kind of like it with Undying. If they wipe your board and all your triggers happen, you can actually... It's sorcery speed, though, so that doesn't work. Yeah, I'm just hoping this card will actually find a home. If not even in Modern, I'm cool with that. So I like Beck Call, and let's hope for a good standard that this deck will actually see some play. Let's go on to Path of Bravery. I love this card so much, and good old white weenie deck, I think we'll utilize this. We are losing the best token strategy, but I'm thinking a very aggressive white weenie deck might want this as a 3-drop. If you could go one card on first turn, a 1-drop on first turn. We do lose the best 1-drop on first turn in Champion of the Parish, but you never know. They might actually print off a better one than Champion of the Parish, or we could use cards like Dryad Militant, or the Boros Elite isn't bad either. So you go first turn, 1-drop, second turn, 2 more 1-drops, and third turn, swing for 6, hopefully, with the Path of Bravery also giving you 3 life. So maybe there is going to be some sort of life gain strategy. We had M14 have a lot of life gain strategies, so hopefully Theros could actually add to the life gain, and maybe Path of Bravery will be that missing piece. And anyway, now we get on to exciting. That was 10 through 5. Let's get on to a card that I really want to see play, which is Rakdos, Lord of Riots. He saw play at the very, very start in Rakdos aggro, but ever since then, this dude has not seen any play. And he's a 6/6 for 4 mana. And how hard is it to do damage? Can't cast a spell. You can't cast Rakdos, Lord of Riots unless an opponent lost life this turn. Whoop-de-doo. Come on, we got to be able to get this guy out more consistently. I mean, I guess the mana is a little bit hard for an aggro deck to have double black and double red. So again, hopefully we can figure out a way to do that. There is fixers so far. There's that the Satyr guy that you can, Satyr Hedonist, I think it is, where you can sack it for 3 red mana, but that's in green, so that doesn't quite work. But I mean, and then the creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponent has lost a turn. That just seems like another awesome ability. I'm thinking about putting this in some sort of, I wonder if this would be viable in any sort of Vile deck, as you could actually just cheat this guy in. You wouldn't be casting him, just throwing him in if you get your Vile up to 4. But in Modern, it just even seems like there's better 4-drops for Vile. But we'll have to wait and see. I'll have to try to brew around with that to see if I can actually make a Vile Rakdos Lord of Riots deck actually work. It's just a really cool card, though, Flying Trample. And in Modern, there's not a lot of ways to deal with it. There's Path to Exile, but it does dodge Lightning Bolt and Electricity and Abrupt Decay. Barely dodges Abrupt Decay. So dodges Doomblade if anyone actually uses that in Modern. And just a Flying Trample 6/6. That is just crazy. Crazy, crazy damage. They are dead within a couple of turns. And you never know, like I said, this enchantment-based Theros, or kind of this set that's based upon having big one-of creatures. Like, this is going to be like the heroes versus monsters type feel. I think Rakdos, Lord of Riots, might be well positioned if they do print cards that are very good for this type of strategy. Let's go on to the next card with his master, Biomancer, which has seen a little bit of play. We are losing a lot of the enablers. Arbor Elf, the biggest enabler for this, to be able to fix for blue. But the elf, the new Llanowar Elf, is not bad, as you can get this guy out as quick as turn 3. Are losing Farseek to have a way to get this into turn 3, but you never want to play Farseek in a heavy creature-based deck anyway. So I'm hoping Master Biomancer sees some play and it finds a home, as there is a lot of, in Dragons, there's a lot of +1/+1 counters that are still very, very useful, and if blue or green get some decent cards, I think Master Biomancer might find a home. Let's hope so. This card I really, really want to find a home, which is Firemane Avenger, a lightning helix on a stick. If you can just get Battalion off and just keep this dude alive. A lot of ifs there, but I hope that, again, somehow the format kind of slows down and isn't so hostile to creatures that we can actually stick a 3/3 and actually attack with it with 2 other creatures to actually get this. I tried to make a deck out of this, and that scenario never happened. I never had 3 creatures that I could attack with on the same turn, so it was just a very expensive 3/3 for 4 mana. But here's to hoping the Firemane Avenger actually does make a splash in Standard. Now on to the next card, my number 2 pick, which is Bred for the Hunt. Had a lot of fun with this card when I made a Bred for the Hunt deck. I'm hoping this card can see play again. Very awesome card. It's a curiosity for all creatures, but it will be, I think they just did spoil an enchantment. It's a legendary enchantment artifact that, I can't remember what its secondary ability does, but one of the abilities is whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So maybe Bred for the Hunt will be obsolete because of that card, but who knows? Maybe there'll be some more +1/+1 counters on creatures, early creatures, where Bred for the Hunt can actually be a decent card. I probably am going to brew a Bred for the Hunt deck with 1/1 like evolve creatures in the near future. So be looking for that. I have made a Bred for the Hunt deck in the past. You can go check those videos out. It was a very fun deck. Anyway, onto my number 1 card here, and it isn't usually a color combination that I try to avoid, but I've been trying to break this card for the longest time and have not been successful, but I hope that Duskmantle Seer finds a home. Just a very cool ability where each player draws a card and loses life equal to the card's converted mana cost. That's awesome. And it's not actually drawing card, it's putting it into hand. I like the way they word this. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player reveals the top card of his or her library, loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost, and then puts it in their hand. So it's not actually drawing. So you can actually get around things that actually punish draws like Notion Thief or anything else like that. So anyway, this is my top 10 list. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' top 10 lists of cards that maybe aren't seeing very much play or no play at all in the current standard that you're hoping to see play in Theros. And if last rotation is any indication of what this rotation is going to be like, there is going to be some sleepers that are just going to be like, whoa, I cannot believe that card was never played. The biggest one I remember from last standard was Olivia. Olivia saw absolutely no play in the previous format, and then all of a sudden with Jund and a few other Rakdos mid-range decks at the start of Return to Ravnica and Innistrad standard, Olivia just took off, went from a bulk mythic, a little over bulk, I think she was like $4 to over $20, basically overnight. And you could see Duskmantle Seer following that trend if it finds like a really good home. So there will be a sleeper. I'll tell you this much, every rotation there's a sleeper. And last one we had cards like Thundermaw Hellkite and cards like, even like Thragtusk was kind of a sleeper. It was seen play in Zombie Pod, but really not any other deck. Few of the Kessig Wolf Run, what they call that? Think about Nexus Kessig Wolf Run decks would run Thragtusk, but Huntmaster just seemed to be a better target, and even cards like Solemn Simulacrum, because of you're skipping your 5-drop, you're going just from 4 to 6, so a lot of people didn't put Thragtusk in there. So there, I mean, there's 3 clear examples that the cards that were very rarely played, they became incredibly played once the format changed to a different type of standard, a slower standard in this case. So Olivia Thragtusk, and what was the other card I just mentioned? No, I can't even think of it. Thundermaw Hellkite, which is funny because 2 of those cards are on my list of cards that I'm glad to see go in my previous video. Anyway, I hope you liked my list. Again, put your own list in the comments below. Send me a video, do a video response. This is Kevin from Roguedeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.